Hello, artists. Last week we had Turtle Friday, and this week is Frog Friday. So practice many different art techniques and do some frog art with me. As always, it does not have to look like mine. It's not supposed to. In fact, I encourage you to find your own picture of a frog and use your own materials. Whatever you have can work for Frog Friday. All right, I got a photo of a frog first offline, and I even outlined some of those lines in Sharpie so I could see them better. I just did my best drawing of that frog. You'll see that I kind of erase a lot more than I usually do here, and that's because I was realizing that I didn't have the angle quite right on the eyes. So always compare your angles. Usually the eyes are going to be on the same line, whether that's a straight line across your paper or an angled line. And I realized I had tried to make mine straight when they were actually at an angle. I really love drawing frog toes. And I hope you are having fun drawing your frog. It can be frustrating, but just keep doing your best and you're doing awesome so far. Remember, it does not have to look exactly like it does in the picture. Mine sure doesn't. Look at his funny little mouth. Sometimes you even realize that things look kind of funny in real life that you might not have realized before. So I'm getting a frog leg in there. Definitely doing a lot more erasing than Miss Widman usually does. There I am putting in that line for the eyes. And I'm just gonna skip ahead a little bit here to my next step, which is doing a nice smooth outline in Sharpie marker. This is where I can kind of fix up some of those scratchy, sketchy lines that I did. A lot sketchier than my contour line drawing. Going in and getting all the different parts of my frog. And once I got that Sharpie done, I got out my crayons, and I love layering different colors. You'll see me go between reds and oranges and greens. This frog was so colorful. I had so much fun picking out all the different crayon colors I was gonna use. So it might be time to dig around in that craft closet or in your little brother or sister's stuff and see if you've got any crayons. I guess I went back in there and put a little bit of Sharpie marker in there, but just had a lot of fun with color. Color is one of my favorite elements of art. So far we've drawn him with a pencil. We've traced him in Sharpie, and now we're doing crayon. And one cool thing about crayon is it does not mix with water. And the reason that's cool is because our next step is going to involve, you guessed it, some water. So after I got all that coloring done that I wanted, I went ahead and got out my handy dandy watercolor set. So as you guessed, my next step is a little bit of watercolor paint. And if you don't have your own watercolor, remember my last video, kitchen art, where you can make paint out of almost anything. Or just have fun with your crayons and leave it at that. Crayon layering is an amazing way to get lots of different And again, colors. If you don't have watercolors, check out my last video, kitchen painting. I mixed some yellow with a And little bit of green in this because that frog is bright green. And I didn't want the overcoat, and I could go right over that crayon, and it showed right through. Palette. So I just kept going with remember, the main your body. frog doesn't have Sometimes to be when a part of exactly something the is same white, colors, you too. can I use mean, these blues colors or are purples almost imaginary to give it some anyways. They're dimension. pretty unbelievable. So you'll see his belly gets a little bit of a purple shadow on it here, which is pretty nifty. And now I put a bunch of water on that paper first. Now, if you're using regular printer paper, you're not going to want to put quite as much water on as I did. But then I was able to spread that paint around and do my next technique. I did some darker areas and some lighter areas. Always leave some white with watercolor. White is the life of your painting. So you can see I'm doing the background now. I'm using a bigger brush than I usually do. I'm just rubbing that all around there. Now the next thing you're going to see is I'm going to get some saran wrap from the kitchen. I'm going to crinkle that up after I put some salt on it. Don't put a lot of salt, just a few little sprinkles will do. It'll absorb it. And then you'll see that I crumple up some saran wrap and put that on top. You'll want to let that dry before you take it off. And then when I took that saran wrap off, it left those crinkly textures you see above the frog's head. Now the shiny on top was kind of this extra idea I had where I took more saran wrap and smoothed it out over the top of it. And then just because I was in my classroom by myself a little bit bored, I put it under an iron with a wet cloth on top of it, and it kind of suctioned the saran wrap to the painting, and then I Sharpied on top of it. However, this is just Miss Widman's experiment, and I might encourage you just to, stop when you're happy with your piece. You got a lot of cool watercolor techniques to look at, and I hope you have a fantastic Frog Friday. See you next week.